It's crazy how that shit done snuck up on us. Now we are exactly 11 days away from the fight. That shit is actually here. It's almost over. So when you factor in that it's not only going to be Floyd Mayweather's, I'm pretty sure it's going to be his official last fight unless they want to do. They're already talking about Mayweather McGregor too, and I just don't even want to go. I just don't even want to think that far ahead. Dana White is saying that it's going to be over or under 4.9 million pay-per-view buys. That's what the odds are in Vegas. 4.9 million pay-per-view buys. I don't think so. However, I'm very interested to see what those numbers are going to be. So I'm telling you here first. If the numbers are not successful, we won't get an official number. If the numbers are successful, they'll do like they did the last time for Mayweather Pacquiao and release a press release and officially release the numbers. But me personally, I think maybe 3 million or so pay-per-view buys. 3 million, 3.5, maybe, I just don't, the hardcore fan is turned off. But the casuals' numbers cannot be doubted. There are so many casuals, there are so many UFC and mixed martial arts and Conor McGregor fans that really feel he has a shot. Especially since the Paulie Malignaggi footage has been released. Now, I understand it's not the full tapes. People are getting real bent out of shape with this, and now there's a new term that's been coming up. Remember the term FLOMO? Remember the term PACTARD? Now we got the MACTARDs. So over the years, the PACTARDs have had a reputation of being casual boxing fans with some boxing knowledge, but they will resort to racism and weird sexual innuendos and social media posts when things don't go their way. Flomos are blinded by logic, however, very hardcore boxing fans, but blinded by facts and logic, and Floyd Mayweather can do no wrong. Now when it comes to the MACTARDs, they're casuals and they're just saying any old crazy shit just to make sure that they're heard. So, for those who know, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. There's so much shit that's been going on with this fight. And now this fight has been overshadowed by Paulie Malignaggi. So, Paulie Malignaggi been screaming up and down for them to release the footage of what happened in the sparring. So, guess what Dana White does? He releases the footage. Not all of the footage. So, you have fans saying, you have some people saying, oh, Paulie Malignaggi was getting touched up. You have other fans saying, man, that little bit of footage, we don't really know. But here's my stance on it. Do I feel that Conor McGregor could beat Paulie Malignaggi in a boxing match? No. Paulie Malignaggi's last fight, in fact, let me look it up. Paulie Malignaggi just fought this February. People saying Paulie is, has been inactive and everything. His last fight was against Sam Eggington. And if I'm correct, that was in what, February or March? Let me check for sure. It was in February or March, right? It was in March. It was the same day as Thurman versus Garcia. So Paulie Malignaggi, 3 fights in 2015, 1 fight in 2016, and then 1 fight this year. He has not been inactive. And in fact, he was on a 3-fight winning streak after losing to Danny Garcia in 2015 up until, losing to Sam Eggington, who stopped him. And Sam Eggington just so happens to is pretty good. Okay, he's okay. He's okay. UK domestic level fighter. So, my issue is, it's like this. Issue is an issue. The way Paulie Malignaggi was talking, toward the lead up to when this fight was announced, it was like he wasn't going to have no problems. So the fact that he had some issues, whether it was, big or small, the fact that he had some issues, and it looked like during those little clips, it's a big enough issue to be an issue that Paulie Malignaggi shouldn't be having with a guy like Conor McGregor. And the thing is, Conor McGregor sounds so much more credible. Boxing fans, including myself, don't want to believe it, but Conor McGregor sounds credible. He's been saying, like, look, in fact, we're going to play a little bit of it. It's just, I just don't see him lying, I just don't see him lying about it. So where's it at? It's right here.
I think it's ridiculous. I mean, we have multiple houses over here. He can say what he wants.
Oh no, we're gonna play it on here. So you've been having Paulie going on the talk show circuit, all last week. Especially in between episode 2 and 3, we kept hearing Paulie Malignaggi talk about, you know, like the Sparring and for the UFC to release the tapes. And, you know, looking at the All Access episodes as a whole, you know, I have to be honest, you know, maybe because I've seen all of them, and they're good quality shows, but still, for a show to be called All Access, you know, I expected more. In my opinion, episode 2 was the best one. Episode 1, we knew that episode 1 they had to go through the press tour and how the fight got made and introduce us to the fighters for people who, you know, don't know who Floyd Mayweather is, for people who don't know who Conor McGregor is. And you got to imagine that there were a lot of brand new All Access viewers, you know, that were UFC supporters and they wanted to see the show. So they went through the press tour. Episode 2 was when they teased us with the sparring footage. And then they did it again with episode 3. So episode 2 and 3 basically centered around like that, you know, what is it? That understory, that backstory of what happened with the sparring. Because with Paulie going on at different talk shows and, you know, talking about on the podcast and going on social media and everything, we really wanted to know, you know, well, what the hell happened in sparring? So then when episode 3 came along,
that is a mouthpiece. I don't know what else to say.
And just so happened, episode 3 also aired directly, you know, about an hour or so after Conor McGregor's media workout. You know, so let's listen to this.
You know what I mean? He was flattened against the rope.
Okay, I'm gonna put it right here.
Good for him. He took a lot of head trauma. Straight after it, we were worried. The sparring partners were actually telling us when he was dropped back to the home that he was stumbling out of the car after the 12-rounder. He was knocked down. He was flattened against the ropes. Multiple times the ropes kept him on his feet. We were worried about him. We thought the worst was that to happen. You know what I mean? He was certainly badly concussed. And then he just got out of there and went running. And I don't know. I mean, I don't mind Paulie. He came in. He spoke a hell of a game previous. Very disrespectful to the skill set. Very disrespectful to the discipline. But no matter what a man says, if they show up and try to answer that and try their best, you've got to give respect. And that's what happened. He showed up. He tried his best. It didn't go his way. He got his ass whooped. He got his pride dented. And then he wanted a way out. What better way for a guy like him to exit under a load of questions and mysterious, you know what I mean? So, under a load of questions. So,
what's your response to the way he says you're treating yourself?
So, you know, like, I mean, and the story hasn't been changing to where you've seen nothing but Paulie Malignaggi, like, defending himself, saying shit like, well, if you go look and you slow it down and you look, you can see his hand, the glove had pushed me down. He did a very good job in disguising it, like it was all choreographed for him to do that. So I can listen. I've watched way too much boxing. I'm not no casual boxing fan. You know, I know the difference between a push and a knockdown, but whatever happened on that angle before you seen Conor's glove on him, you know, like push him down a little bit. And we've seen boxers give, you know, other boxers that little shove. We've seen it, Paulie. We've seen it happen many other times before. But what was it that got you all off balance like that? Now, people are talking about the feet and everything. Hey, the only thing I'm saying is this. Popular belief, popular opinion is that Paulie Malignaggi had issues with Conor McGregor. If there was 2 lines, right? And I've been reading and, you know, like all over it, there's 2 lines. You know, and I'm not counting the people who trolling or I even think is trolling. One line, Paulie, you know, was pushed. Another line saying, you know, yo, Conor was giving Paulie some issues. The long line says Conor was giving Paulie some issues. You know? So now it's talk that Paulie's aligning himself for a fight with Conor McGregor. If Conor McGregor, many fans say, majority say, when Conor McGregor loses to Mayweather, that he can go and fight Paulie. Paulie positioned himself for a payday. Paulie's now officially in on a money grab. When has Paulie Malignaggi ever got this much publicity for anything? Even for his championship fights. You got Paulie Malignaggi everywhere. I'm sure his phone be ringing off the hook. He's been going crazy on social media, on Twitter. Go look at his Twitter. The 3rd episode of All Access is going to air this Friday, the 18th. I'm hoping, you know, that it's just, you know, it's supposed to be the last All Access. We don't, normally they have the All Access episodes before the fight, and then they have one after the fight called the Epilogue that airs the week after with the replay. I'm hoping, man, that this one is not no bullshit. You know, episode 3, I didn't, you know, like, episode 3 aired, right? We saw Floyd Mayweather riding horses and shit, you know, with his crocodile vest. We saw Conor McGregor, you know, greet Dana White and that Zuffa CEO, you know, and we thought like, oh, they're going to show us the sparring footage. They didn't. I'm hoping they don't tease us again for the 3rd week in a row and go a different route. Show us something. Because the real action happened before All Access with the Conor McGregor media workout, and that just was some crazy shit. That shit was unorthodox. Did you notice they kept him away from the speed bag? Did y'all notice they kept him away from the speed bag? You know, also with his little, you know, all that shit, you know, to where Mayweather's the day before. Mayweather always puts on a show. His media workouts, especially in this social media age, I'm going to say his last 4 has always been a spectacle. You know, he does a full media workout in that hot-ass gym. I heard that gym be hell. You know, music, everything. It's a show. You know, it's an event. You know, that shit was like 5 hours long, 4 or 5 hours long. Then for Dana White to do what he did, you know, because, okay, you had the Conor McGregor media workout on Friday at 6 p.m. It started at about 7 p.m. Eastern. It didn't end to about 9 p.m., you know, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, or, you know. Then All Access comes on, and then Dana White releases the clips. So now people like, hey, listen, we want to see the full 36 minutes, but you would be a fool to think they was going to release that before the fight. Paulie Malignaggi knows they're not going to release that shit before the fight. Don't be surprised at that. That's some highly sought after, lucrative footage. That shit's not coming out. That shit's not coming out. But it's like this. People are not giving Conor McGregor credit, man. Like, when I saw Paulie Malignaggi eat that straight left for one, you know, I don't know why I didn't bring it up. He's there to try to mimic Floyd Mayweather. But Floyd Mayweather doesn't fight in the shoulder roll against southpaw fighters. So you see Paulie, you know, reflexes, you know, because he's a little overweight. But remember, he just fought in March. You know, reflexes wasn't there to try to dodge that shit. He ate the shit out of it. His foundation was still set, but his whole, you know, he ate that. And then the face don't lie. I just don't believe Conor McGregor's fibbing. I don't believe he's telling a lie. I think that he really was giving Paulie some issues in there. Because you don't see Paulie saying, man, I was whooping his ass. I was whooping his ass the whole goddamn time I was there. You don't see Paulie saying that. Paulie saying, well, you know, I had my lights, I had my good spots, you know, and I had he started fast talking all that shit, you know, with his shaped up eyebrows. It's an Italian thing, I understand. You know. But anyway, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. We're officially 11 days away from the fight. Shit is getting real. Please subscribe. I'll links to my social media right down below in the description box. If anybody's interested in helping out in covering events out in Las Vegas or, you know, Los Angeles, I kind of dropped the ball with the McGregor media workout. I could have had somebody there, but I fucked that up. Hit me up. You know, email me. You can put it this way. If you're interested in helping out, if you got, you know, if you want to go to a boxing event every now and then, you know, if you want to, you know, make a little money, if you enter being around all the celebrities and all that, then you got to email me your name, your location, you know, your work schedule, because a lot of these media events, majority of them, actually all of them, happen in the daytime between 9 a.m. and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know, and 3 hours earlier if you're on the West Coast, you know, and if you're over in Australia and all those places, you do the time difference, you know. So email me, you know, let me know, you know, if you have any questions or anything you want to know. Don't ask me shit in the comments. That's just, you know, right then and there. I'm not going to respond because you're not following directions. So, you know, we can probably get something done. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.